Hey guys, it's Welps. This will be a commentary guide for second boss in difficult mode of 12-man raid, the Corridor of Anguish. I will be explaining the mech as we go. So for this fight, you want 2 tanks, 2 heals, and 8 DPS. And you want to try to split the party so that the DPS of each party is even as possible. You don't really want one group doing too much and other group doing too low. Okay, so on pull, the tank wants to do a countdown and pull at the same time. Otherwise, the one boss would throw an AoE to the other side. Okay, so what our group did here is that when fire side reached 10 stacks, we call for the swap. This is going to be the most safest way to manage your stacks for most raids. But if your raid is stacked with pumpers, you wanna push the boss down to 75% before they do the first fury attacks. Anyways, to lose the fire stacks, you need to touch the ice octagon. And to lose the ice stacks, they also need to touch the fire octagon. The stack goes up to 30 stacks, and the higher the stat, the higher the dot damage, and it's gonna be very hard for your healers. And when you switch sides, you want the tank to use this top side, and the rest of the group using the bottom side. That's because when the tanks are swapping, the boss is gonna throw a huge cone attack, so you don't wanna get hit by them, and tank has to taunt the boss immediately when they switch sides. Zyros does double fury attack, make sure you block them, especially the first one, otherwise you get frozen. And if you get frozen on the first one, you can't block the second one and you're most likely to die. Okay, this is the line mech, and the first line mech starts when the boss goes below 75%. And we want both sides to get the line at the same time, that's why it's very important to have even DPS. The group needs to pay attention to the boss HP from this window here. And just call out if the other boss HP is too high, you just stop DPS and control the DPS and push the boss 75 at the same time. There will be total of 3 line mechs in this phase. So first one is at 75, second one is at 40, and last one at 10%. And to get this line, you need to be inside this octagon. That's why I'm making sure that I get the line here before leaving the area. And what do we have to do with the line? Basically, we get paired with the other person, you get linked with the line. You need to touch each other to remove the line, otherwise you will die. And if you have a line and you don't have a pair because the person left the area too early, you are also going to die. And because these lines have timer, that's why it's very important to have both sides getting the line at the same time. Anyways, to complete this mech, we place 2 pins, one here, one here. This is for tanks to meet, this is for other groups to meet up. And we just tell everyone to touch pin 1. Do not try to find your pair, just touch pin 1, everyone will stack on pin 1, and it'll automatically remove all the debuff. You'll hear the sound cue when the debuff is removed. You can also check your debuff window to make sure the debuff is gone before moving off. You have plenty of time, just stack at pin 1, wait like 5 seconds before moving off. Gotta dodge the donut. Vulcan also does double fury attack, but it's actually 3 attacks that you have to block. Basically, he does an additional attack between 2 fury attacks. So after your first block, you have to immediately activate your Q to be able to block again. The second attack is non-fury attack, so it's not gonna trigger your Q. Then you just press Q again for the last fury attack. You need to block at least 2 attacks at full HP of like 20k to live. Now, just like in the beginning, we swap at 10 stacks of fire. And the boss is at 53% now, which means the people that were originally in the ice side must remove the stack from the fire and then immediately come back, make a new turn. Except for the tank. Because at 50%, Zyros is going to do a DPS check mech. You need everybody DPSing Zyros. So that's the shield at the top. We need to break the shield. And you just leave one healer to take care of the tank. If you fail to break the shield, it's a wipe. Once the shield is broken, you go to your sides again. And now, Zyros is very close to 40%. And Vulcan is at 49%. So we stop DPS on Zyro. Wait for Vulcan HP to go down. And we push it to 40% at the same time for the second line mech. I stop. I start DPS. Push 40% together. And then lines. Most of the time during this second line mech, the tanks are going to be frozen, and that needs to be purified by the healers. So healers must watch their tanks when they're swapping. So purifying touch is must for healers. Just don't use ult here, because 5-minute cooldown. So we're starting to get stacks again. When you get this fire symbol on top of your head, that's a meteor meg. The boss is gonna drop 4 large meteors on top of you, so you need to keep on moving away from your group. Meteors. And we swap at 10 stacks. This is what it looks like to be frozen. You'll see a question mark on top of your head to indicate that you're gonna get hit by this mech. And once you're frozen, you'll get a number on top of you. It'll most likely be a 3. And it's just indicating that 3 people has to be inside the circle to undo the mech. Healers can also just purify. So yourself counts as 1, so you just need these 2 people to come inside. And normally you get 2 people getting this mech. And ideally, you just want to have them stacked, so we can undo both. If you fail this mech, when you unfreeze, you will have this ice tornado that's gonna do big AoE around you. So you wanna be away from the group. Lines. Last line mech below 10%. And we just finish the boss. Fire dead. I would just auto attack. Yeah. Beyond the boss. Now for the second phase, you only need 1 tank. So you want to have your other tank switch to DPS. And you gotta make sure the tank gets the first hit to aggro. If we are stacked like this and range pulled on aggro, the boss is going to throw like AoE fires and it's gonna wipe. So just to be safe, it's best to spread apart. And at the start of phase 2, all we're doing is just auto-taking and waiting for our raid skill to fill up. I think it's a bug, but your raid skill resets on second phase. So that's why you used it on first phase. Because it's going to take about 4 to 5 minutes to fill up your raid skill again. And for second phase, it's all about surviving. You don't need to greed your DPS. There's no DPS meter. Just chill. You're pretty much going to see all the mechs you saw in phase 1 at once. Oh, he has to fill up, so yeah. So you can't kill the waves anymore. Now sometimes accidents can happen. Once you get comboed by the mechs, you can't do anything, you'll just die. And to prevent this from happening, you can just have everyone go back of the room, stay next to the wall, except for the tank and one healer to heal him up. Once you're at the wall, no mechs can reach you, so you can just chill there until your raid skill fills up. So I don't need to DPS here, I got the fire, I just need to stay away from the group. At about 90%, boss will go Radeth shall never let you go. You are going to get these stacks again. And these stacks are based on where the boss is positioned. So basically the left side of the boss is fire. So like this. If you're within this area, you get the fire line and you get the fire stack. And to remove this fire stack, you need to go to the ice side, which will be like this. If you're far back behind the boss, sometimes you don't get stacks. But at one point, you eventually get stacks, and you need to manage the stacks by switching sides. Watch his stacks as well. Right, go right, go right. We're still waiting for our raid skill to fill up, so we're just managing stacks, dodging mechs. We can start DPSing now. Raid skill almost filled up, so we start DPS. Let's focus on mix, focus on mix. You have to keep managing your stacks until boss is about 60%. Be on your side, party to right, one left. Still gotta manage your stacks. Medium, medium, medium. Okay, this is the punching mech. This is basically the phase 2 version of Lime mech. We have to split groups into two sides. So we just have our party 1 here on fire and party 2 here on ice. When you do your block on the fire side, you're going to get a fire orb. When you block on the ice side, you're going to get an ice orb. And then we just meet in the middle to remove the debuff. It's basically a Lime mech without a line. And whoever was the tank from the other group has to go to the tank and pair up. You need to do this mech successfully, otherwise you're going to die from the wave that's going to come out after. So I had an ice orb on top and I paired up with the fire orb, now it's gone. And that gives you a buff to not take any damage from the wave. You cannot block the waves anymore. This is the line, so we gotta find the opposite element. There goes the wave. Whoever failed the mech will die here. We can't yet. You have to do mech. Meteor. Meteors run out. And if you have this fire aura as a melee, just stay out. It's so dangerous for melees to stay inside with those. You just need to survive in phase 2. At 50%, the boss is going to summon either Fire Orb or Ice Orb. Now the objective here is to destroy all the orbs to get a buff to not die from the next wave. So to destroy the Fire Orbs, you need to have the Ice debuff, have the Ice line. To destroy the Ice Orb, you need to have the Fire line. So it's very tedious, you have to like rotate the boss and stuff. And this is why we saved up our raid skill. We just use the Sword of Judgment from the middle and AoE all the orbs at once. We ult here. Yeah. And then we won't take any damage from the next wave. After that, at about 20%, he's going to do another punching mech, and you should be able to kill the boss afterwards. So yeah, that's going to be it for this boss. Good luck. Peace.